This is Brian, and today we're going to talk about fast strumming. I thought I'd do a live lesson on this. I have a video out there, you guys can watch that, but I just kind of want to go over some things that I've been showing some of my students recently about sort of like how you can get better and faster at strumming. You know, some of the techniques about the right hand, as well as some exercises that you guys can do. So let's jump into it. We're gonna switch the camera here. Ooh, okay. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here with my right hand. I'm just gonna hold like a C chord here, like that. I might also hold a C like this. You know, if you got the high G tuning, then of course you're totally fine to use this. I use a low G, so it will sound the same if I do it like that. But either way, if you see me doing it like this, I'm playing a C chord, and let's get into it. Look, we've got the right hand here. Okay, let me move it like that. And I've kind of, as I watch people play, and certainly the way I play, you know, I've kind of narrowed it down to like 3 types of movements with the right hand and the arm when it comes to strumming. Okay, so the first one, which is where you can get, you know, the most power and when you're strumming, is coming from the elbow, right? Where you're strumming like this, right? Where you're just swinging your entire arm down. Your wrist is relatively straight, and that's where the movement comes from, right? All from the elbow, down, up, like that. So advantages to this is you get a lot of force, right? It's really loud. You can be very steady with this type of strum, right? But it's not so good for, say, strumming really fast. You can only go so fast strumming like that, right? The next style of strumming is getting more into using your wrist, right? And so we've now got strums where you can, I call this the handshake, where you're just sort of, you know, pretending like you're shaking someone's hand. And now we can actually go a little bit faster. So really, I'm not actually using my elbow anymore. Now I've got more of my wrist here, and I'm kind of like dropping it down like that, right? So that's where that strum comes in. And so this I'm also using my index finger as I strum down. We're getting a little bit closer now to how you can execute a fast strum. Okay, so we certainly want to avoid using the elbow to power a fast strum, right? We're gonna keep our elbow relatively steady, and we're gonna get into a little bit more of this style of like using your wrist, right? Again, I'm using my index finger, keeping my other fingers loose but tucked in. You know, they're not flailing about like that. I mean, that is a style of strumming, but for now, let's just keep our index finger like that. Okay. The next style so we're no longer doing this motion. We're kind of getting more towards the handshake. Now let's start looking at how to twist your wrist, or even like your forearm here, right? So we're getting into this kind of motion now. Okay. This is what I would call the doorknob motion, right? Like you're grabbing a doorknob and you're turning it, but like imagine your hand is kind of clenched up a little bit, loose there, not too tight, index finger pointing in, okay? And like that. You see how I'm now pointed towards those strings, and I'm just kind of like rotating my wrist that way. That's probably where you're gonna get the most speed. Now, I find that it's somewhere in between those last 2 styles I was showing, right? Where you've got a little bit of wrist movement like this. Okay, wrist movement like that. But I'm also kind of going a little bit more into this style of like rotating the wrist. So find what's comfortable, but know that like rotating the wrist is really where you're gonna get the speed. Okay, the speed comes from here. It certainly does not come from the elbow. So you got to figure out a way to use less of your elbow and more of your wrist, whether it's going to be the sort of handshake method like that, or the sort of rotation, the doorknob method like that. Okay, now let's talk about how we can go about building up speed. One thing to be aware of is understanding how the strum relates to the count, right? Like if we were to count a song, let's just, I'm still gonna hold C because I think C is a good place to start for people, right? But we're gonna go like down, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But notice I'm strumming down, up, down, up, down, up, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so we've sort of we've aligned the downs with the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and the ups with the ands, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The trick to getting into the fast drum is learning to switch all of those, the numbers and the and, to the down strum, okay? So instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, I'm gonna go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? And that's now the pulse that we have to be driven by, right? A 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. The reason is because now we have an up strum that is naturally going to fall between the downs. So where we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, I'm going to go 1 and 2 and, right? You see how my hand is already coming up for the next down strum. And in doing so, I'm just going to use that as an up strum. I'm going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Now this is where it's important, right? Where I've got my forearm is really twisting here. It's rotating. The doorknob method is what I use. But I'm not doing this. I'm not going down, 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 down. Okay, you get that. You got to avoid the elbow here. Now we're doing all wrist rotation. Yeah. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1. And, sorry, we're gonna go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay. So from here, now we can start to kind of speed it up, right? Really lock in that pulse. Know what you're counting. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of how you're gonna how you want to work on it, but you want to internalize what that count is, so that you're in control of how you're speeding up your strum. Okay. So let's now take this into, say, like a song. One of the songs that I enjoy kind of practicing this with is called Hene Hene Kowaka, and you can listen to Israel Kamaka Viva Ole. He plays it on his album Facing Future. And he's got this cool intro, right? The intro goes, and so he sort of like inserts these little flourishes of a, where he's not constantly going, right? He's still keeping a very steady, like 1, 2, bum, 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 ba, da, 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 and that's where you're gonna really start to kind of see the benefits of this fast drum, is because you can sort of drop it in to a standard kind of very even 8th note count, and then you sort of insert these 16th notes. You know? Because if the count is here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. You see that? And that's the trick, right? Is that we want to keep our right hand in a very steady 2, 3, 4, 1, and be aware of what the count is, so that you can start to insert this sort of, it's almost like a double down strum, right? Down, 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 instead of down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. Ha! Down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up. So we got. There we go. Cool. Yeah. So that's the strum, right? It's about finding what is the pulse of the song, and kind of dropping in your 16th note strum into this your standard 8th note strum of down, up, 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 down, 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 up, down, up, down, up. Like that, right? Cool. I think that's it. I'm happy to take questions if you guys have them. Otherwise, I'll just kind of jam out a little bit on some more of this kind of fast strumming. Again, I'll just kind of recap. It's all in the wrist, right? You want to use your wrist and rotate it while your index finger kind of points in. You want to avoid using your elbow. And start slow, but really feel the pulse, right? 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. You know, it sometimes helps if you go 1 and 2 and 1. Right? Break it down. Count this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like that. There we go. Cool. That's it. That's the fast strum. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions, and let me know what else you guys like a lesson on, and we'll see you next time. All right. Thanks.